Hello, citizens of Internet. I am Dr. Ajit Virkud, Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology and ex-Head of Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology from Mumbai, India. Today, I will be discussing Ductus Venosus Doppler in obstetrics, a powerful hemodynamic window into fetal cardiac function and acid-base status. Unlike arterial Doppler studies, Ductus Venosus Doppler provides unique insight into the venous side of the fetal circulation, allowing us to assess myocardial performance, central venous pressure, and early fetal decompensation. Understanding its role is essential for accurate surveillance and timely clinical decision making in high-risk pregnancies. I find anatomy of ductus venosus very fascinating. Ductus venosus is a narrow trumpet-shaped vessel which is seen in the fetal liver, connecting the umbilical vein directly to the caudal inferior vena cava or distal left hepatic vein. The vessel plays a critical role in the fetal circulation by shunting oxygenated and nutrient-rich umbilical venous blood from the placenta to the brain and myocardium, bypassing the fetal liver. The trumpet shape also has importance. It has a sphincteric action. The sphincteric action helps force oxygenated blood from the umbilical vein directly to the left side of the heart via the foramen ovale to the left ventricle for distribution to the entire body. It helps bypass blood circulation from the lungs. Please note, some blood does flow to the right side of the heart via the portal vein, especially the right portal vein. The following table presents various indications for performing Doppler ultrasound. I will elaborate on each one individually, commencing with its role in the early pregnancy aneuploidy screening process. In early pregnancy, particularly between 11 and 14 weeks of gestation, ductus venosus Doppler serves as an important functional marker of early fetal cardiac performance and chromosomal risk. Under normal circumstances, the ductus venosus waveform shows forward flow during atrial contraction represented by a positive A wave. However, an absent or reversed A wave reflects increased cardiac afterload or impaired myocardial compliance and is significantly associated with aneuploidies, especially trisomy 21, trisomy 18, and trisomy 13, as well as major congenital heart defects. It is crucial to emphasize that ductus venosus Doppler is not used in isolation. Its true clinical value lies in its integration with first trimester screening markers, namely nuchal translucency, nasal bone assessment, and evaluation of tricuspid regurgitation. Ductus venosus Doppler study is optional when it comes to normal Doppler study, but must always be done as a part of multi-vessel Doppler velocimetry when other Doppler indices suggest presence of fetal growth restriction. It helps in identifying fetal decompensation. In placental insufficiency, ductus venosus Doppler is one of the last findings to become abnormal. Ductus venosus Doppler is a late but critical marker. It is used to time delivery, especially in early onset FGR, which is the one which occurs prior to 32 weeks of gestation. In RH isoimmunization, Doppler assessment addresses two critical questions. First, middle cerebral artery peak systolic velocity is used to detect fetal anemia. Second, ductus venosus Doppler evaluates whether that anemia has progressed to cardiovascular compromise. An abnormal ductus venosus waveform, especially a reversed A wave, is highly suggestive of severe anemia, evolving cardiac failure, and imminent Hydrops fetalis. These findings are pivotal in clinical decision making as they help determine the urgency of intrauterine blood transfusion and provide valuable information regarding fetal prognosis. Other less common indications are in Hydrops fetalis, ductus venosus Doppler reflects elevated right atrial pressure and poor cardiac compliance, and a reversed A wave is a poor prognostic sign. In twin complications such as twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome and selective FGR, ductus venosus Doppler identifies cardiac strain in the recipient twin, aids severity staging, and guides prognostic assessment. This is an exclusive opportunity to deepen your learning experience with my channel membership program. By joining, you will gain access to high quality, in-depth content that I have created specially for you. There are 3 exciting membership levels. First, the basic level. This level provides access to select videos and shorts that will help strengthen your foundational knowledge. It's perfect for those who want a taste of what we offer without committing too much. Second, the priority level. At this level, you will have access to all our theoretical topics. This is ideal for those who want to ensure a strong theoretical understanding and wish to stay updated with the latest advances in obstetrics and gynecology. And finally, the premium level. This is the ultimate package. You will receive everything from the basic and priority level, plus exclusive access to both theoretical and practical topics. This includes my masterclasses on various practical topics and the privilege to watch orations delivered by me in India and abroad. It's a comprehensive learning experience designed to equip you with the knowledge and skills to excel in your career. By joining this membership program, not only will you get access to all this incredible content, but you will also be supporting the channel, allowing me to continue bringing to you the best educational material possible. So, what are you waiting for? Click the join button below and choose the membership level that best suits your learning needs. Thank you so much for your continued support. Together, let's embark on this educational journey, and I will see you on the inside. The technique of Ductus Venosus Doppler study is as follows. In the mid-sagittal view of the fetal trunk or upper abdomen, locate the fetal liver. Trace the umbilical vein from the portal sinus to identify Ductus Venosus origin as a straight vessel that drains directly into the inferior vena cava. Activate color Doppler with low PRF and 50 to 70 Hz scale to confirm the flow direction, continuous towards the heart with a triphasic waveform. Place a pulse wave sample gauge, usually 0.5 to 1 mm, precisely at the isthmic portion, which is the narrowest pre-inferior vena cava junction, to capture S, D and A waves. Adjust the gain to avoid aliasing and ensure a clear baseline crossing the diastole. The angle of insonation should be as close to 0 as possible. Care must be taken to avoid contamination from the umbilical vein or hepatic veins. A technically adequate tracing will show a triphasic waveform with a systolic wave, an early diastolic wave, and a forward flow A wave during atrial contraction, which is referred to as the SDA pattern. Record 3 to 5 uniform waveforms free of fetal movement artifacts. Measure peak systolic velocities S, which is systolic, D, diastolic, and A, which is a wave that occurs because of atrial contraction, which is normally less than 10% of the S wave. The presence, absence, or reversal of this A wave forms the basis of clinical interpretation of ductus venosus waveform. As depicted in the provided scan, the typical ductus venosus waveform comprises 3 distinct waves. The S wave, which signifies ventricular systole, the D wave, which arises during the early phase of diastole, and the A wave representing atrial contraction. This pattern is commonly referred to as the SDA pattern. Typically, the SDA pattern exhibits forward flow throughout all phases, including the A wave phase. In essence, the normal triphasic ductus venosus waveform demonstrates positive waves, with the S wave being greater than the D wave, which in turn is greater than the A wave. If the ductus venosus waveform shows an absent or reverse forward flow during atrial systole, it is an ominous sign indicating increased preload. Abnormal ductus venosus waveform indicates myocardial dysfunction, rising central venous pressure, and impending fetal acidosis and a poor fetal outcome. If seen in early pregnancy, it is associated with increased risk of aneuploidy and congenital heart disease. In monochorionic twins, reversal of the A wave is a marker for increased risk of developing twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. Abnormal, that is absent or reversed, A wave in early fetal growth restriction cases indicates that fetal survival is unlikely beyond 1 week. The finding, in conjunction with biophysical profile and cardiotocography, will help decide the time of delivery. Ductus Venosus Pulsatility Index, or DVPI, also plays an important role in the detection and monitoring of early onset fetal growth restriction. DVPI is calculated using the systolic velocity during ventricular contraction, the A wave velocity during atrial contraction, and the mean velocity over the cardiac cycle, as shown in this formula. The measured values are then plotted on a gestational age specific reference chart, as shown here. A normal DVPI indicates good myocardial compliance and low central venous pressure. In contrast, a raised DVPI reflects impaired myocardial relaxation with rising right atrial pressure, signaling early cardiac strain. Clinically, this becomes particularly important before 32 weeks of gestation, where DVPI is a key determinant of timing of delivery in early onset FGR. A progressive rise in DVPI above the 95th percentile indicates increasing fetal cardiac stress. It is important to remember that DVPI reflects fetal cardiac function rather than placental resistance, and therefore provides critical prognostic information in growth restricted fetuses. In conclusion, I will say this. Ductus venosus Doppler assesses fetal cardiac function and central venous pressure. Abnormal or reversed A wave indicates fetal decompensation and is crucial in timing delivery in early growth restriction, anemia, and Hydrops fetalis. If you want to know more about this topic or any other topic in obstetrics and gynecology, please refer to my books Modern Gynecology, Modern Obstetrics, and Practical Obstetrics and Gynecology, and other books. For purchase inquiries, contact me on this WhatsApp number. I have also published 2 question answer books which are particularly useful for exam going students. These are Clinical Cases in Obstetrics, 1000 plus questions and answers, and Clinical Cases in Gynecology, 1000 plus questions and answers. You can also follow me on other social media platforms like Facebook or Meta, Blogspot, and Instagram. The links are given here. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and also subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thank you for watching.